Alright, how y'all doing? My name is Daniel. Long story short, you can kind of get the history of my military record and stuff like that on my other blogs, but I did 2 tours out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I received Purple Heart during my second tour in 2006. I was there for initial invasion. I was Army Infantry. I did just under 6 years until I was medically retired in August of last year. So I've been doing some blogs on here, and I've been watching a lot of these town hall meetings, and I'm an atheist, so I do a lot of things on religion. And what I want to do a thing about today, I'm going to be doing 2 or 3 and kind of bouncing around, is Christian radicals. So I just want to talk about a couple of the hypocrisies that I've seen. Is that like abortion? Whenever you hear Christians talk about abortion, and I mean, the abortion and death penalty, the same exact, not just the same exact group, but the same exact people will tell you that, oh, abortion is just horrible, and I mean, even Sarah Palin. But the thing about abortion is rich white people, they don't get raped. I mean, they do, yes, it'll happen, but those aren't the people that get raped and whose parents molest them and shit like that. So they aren't really, this isn't the area that it concerns. So their morality extends to this point. So as a whole, I mean, Sarah Palin's daughter, I mean, I'm not wishing anything bad on her, but if she was, you can guarantee if she was raped by, let's say, a black guy, and she got pregnant, that they would have had a family vacation down to California, and then it would have been a surprise miscarriage. So you can guarantee that shit. But what I guess I was talking about today is that they say, you know, every life counts at the moment of conception, and I think that's a rather personal choice. I mean, I grew up in foster care, and I ended up growing up and being in the military, so if abortion was around back then, I would assume that I very much would have been a possibility that, since I grew up in foster care and stuff, that I would have been aborted. Well, this would be why, because I grew up in a horrible situation all through foster care. I was abused, and then you grow up, and then you end up in the fucking army going off to war and shit. But that's one of the reasons why they don't want abortion, is because they need people like that. They need people who aren't rich, so they have people to go off to war, and fucking people to work at McDonald's, and people to work for $5.50 an hour. But that's the whole point. If they had real good family planning, they wouldn't have these grunts, what they call us in the army, grunts. But there's also grunts in the civilian life too. But another thing I want to talk on is, you know, it is a really good thing that rich people get like kidney cancer and shit like that, and have to have heart transplants, because 200 years ago, heart transplants or anything of that nature, kidney transplants, you realize where we take organs out of dead people and put them into living people, and then they go on living, that wouldn't be voodoo. 200 years ago, the Catholic Church, the all-knowing, the one connection to the living Christ, those people wouldn't have burnt you at the stake for that. It's a good thing that they didn't think of that 200 years ago, or else they would have just totally tried to wipe that scientific technology off the face of the earth. But it's a good thing that rich people end up getting cancer and shit like that, because you know that for some reason, somehow only poor people ended up getting kidney cancer and shit like that it would be absolutely unheard of and against all moral standing to take kidneys and shit out of dead people and put them in living people. But because rich people get sick and need kidney transplants, somehow they don't see the immorality of that, even though the Bible says your body's a temple. And I think somehow, whenever Christians get mad at people for getting tattoos, I would think putting an organ from a dead person into my body, that they would see that. But apparently that they just don't see that at all. Alright, so healthcare debate. You know, I think about what I would say if I showed up at some of these healthcare debates, and it's really scaring me because I mean, I hype on the freedom of religion thing a lot, because you have religion to go ahead and what I feel is called brainwashing, but you can call it teaching your kids that, you know, evolution isn't true, and that some God somewhere that's the great Santa Claus that's watching you and can send you to hell if you touch your penis too much and masturbate. You can teach your kid that to grow on in life, and teach his kid that. You can do all that. But what you can't do is, you can't go to a healthcare meeting with the Bible. You know, I'm seeing people, not just 1 or 2, but like a dozen out of a couple hundred people, not even screaming about healthcare, just screaming and holding up Bibles and slamming the Bibles down. What does that have to do with healthcare? And the most recent one, man, they had a dude up to 15 minutes before the president got there in his town hall meeting. This was either yesterday, 2 days ago, and he had a 9mm pistol just put right here on his hip, and then he had the sign that was talking about the Tree of Liberty, watering the Tree of Liberty. I believe it was Thomas Jefferson talked about, you know, every now and then the Tree of Liberty must be watered with the blood of patriots and traitors. and the treasonous, and so basically, I mean, more or less, he's saying, whoever's treasonous, in his opinion, is going to die, and he's got a gun. Are you kidding me? When Bush was in office, you don't remember? Don't tase me, bro. Don't tase me. The people getting tased, gas, beaten, the 2,000 people that got cordoned off and put in that bus depot for 3 days and ended up getting all kinds of infections without any kind of, they didn't get arrested, read their rights, or nothing like that. They didn't get to get seen before a judge to get arraigned, nothing like that. Just locked in a bus depot for 3 days. But all of a sudden, when a Democratic president gets in office, because it was a church that gave this guy permission to stand there, we're going to let this guy, within 15 minutes of the president getting there. There's another guy they found with another gun loaded out in his car, and he got caught sneaking in the back of another town hall meeting with a knife, and he went out to his car and searched his car, and he had a gun with it locked, loaded, and around inside the chamber. This is what I'm talking about, man. And you don't see this from Democrats and shit. Democrats is in democracy. If I were to go to these town hall meetings, I would not feel safe. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I get in loud areas, rooms, stuff like that, people screaming, seeing a dude with a gun out in the crowd. How am I supposed to, which I have fought for, I did 2 tours, how am I supposed to go and get involved in the democratic process whenever there's people there that are, I mean, if it's going to scare, I don't want to say scared like I'm, in there biting my fingernails and shit, but it's going to make me uncomfortable to the point where I may not go, which is pushing me out of my some people would say God-given right. Well, my given right. I earned that shit. You imagine how many other people can't bring their kids. I would want my kids to be coming with me so they could see how the democratic process works. My 12 or 13 or even 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, how it's supposed to be working when people have a free exchange of ideas. But this isn't what this is. And some people saying that people are getting hired to go here or not. Well, if that's true, then, I'm going to get into that. I've certainly seen a lot of evidence, which I've gone back and fact-checked, that do show, a lot of Dick Armey and a lot of his buddies and a lot of the pharmaceutical industries are behind a lot of these people coming, which is really, that's treasonous in and of itself, because they're going against, my definition of treason seems to be a lot more broad than everyone else is trying to sell a Senate seat. Rod Blagojevich trying to sell a Senate seat at a time of war. Do I think he was trying to sell it to some fucking terrorist? No, but what the fuck does that point? He's trying to sell a political appointment, a Senate seat at a time of war. He should be shot and killed for that. He should be put to death for that. That is, and obviously I'm not the one to do it. He should be put before trial, innocent until proven guilty. But if he was found guilty of that, and from the evidence that supposedly they have against him and shit, that would be something that, which certainly, treason is one of the only things that I believe deserve the death penalty, because, I mean, that's something for another topic, but I'm bouncing around. But even in one of these, you just see the major difference between Republican conventions, like where the Republicans are the hosts, and if anybody tries to rise up against them or yell or anything, they get tased, beaten, arrested, them and whoever's with them, the press, everybody. If you came in with the wrong shirt last time, they wouldn't let you park to go to the conventions if you had an Obama bumper sticker on your car. None of that shit. These are at Republican gatherings, but at Democratic gatherings, well, I don't know if you want to call Arlen Specter a Democrat, but he's a Democrat now, supposedly. The dude got up in his face and pushed him twice, and the cop's just standing back there. One cop, are you kidding me, dude? If this was 2 years ago, or even if there was a Republican in office now, and this debate was going on somehow the Republicans didn't manage to squash this debate before it happened. These people and these Democrats doing this to Republicans, man, that guy would have been down in Guantanamo. If we were waiting for McCain to come in and he started talking about the Tree of Liberty and shit, and it was even if it was a white dude out there with a fucking 9mm, he would be fucking shipped out to fucking Guantanamo, American citizen or not. But it blows my mind just how fucking blind that shit is. But what else am I gonna talk about? I guess I'll talk about the older people. I only got about 45 seconds. I'm going to stick that till next time. I want to do a whole 10 minutes on that because I feel really strongly about that. But this is just me bouncing around a little bit and kind of jabbering. Haven't done a thing in a little bit. But, yeah, like I said, I believe there's more on my war record and stuff on U.S. Soldier Talks about his 2 tours to Iraq. If you have any specific questions about my time in Iraq, I mean, I was a gunner on a Humvee essentially the whole time. My second tour I sent in Baghdad outside Falcon at a house. It was 14 days out at a house and 2 days back nonstop. But I'll see you guys.